Most people believe that communication skills and social skills in general are mostly practical. They think that in order to be social and in order to become a social butterfly, you need to just understand the little tips and tricks like smile when you meet a person and have a firm handshake and have this body language and speak in this way and speak about these things and use this technique in order to not have awkward silence and do this and you lower your voice to this pitch. But in reality, what I found at least is that communication skills, being social, doing anything social, is a solid 80% a mental game, and maybe around 20% an actual practical game about knowing how to do things and strategies and stuff like that. What I mean by this is the best kind of example I can give you is look at yourself when you're speaking to your parents, for example, or when you're speaking to your best friend. How do you speak? You don't have any awkward silence. You're as fluent as I am right now when I speak to you. You're fluent. There's no awkward silence, and honestly, you're probably pretty funny. You crack a few jokes, you get a few laughs, and generally, you're a pretty charismatic guy. Your social skills are pretty freaking good. But when you go and you speak to an attractive girl in the street or some person who you don't know, now all of a sudden you're over here looking at the ground, unsure of what to say, anxious, worried about awkward silence, and just having a really bad time. The reason this happens isn't because there are some new specific tips and tricks that you need to learn when it comes to speaking to strangers. It's your mental health. The difference between you being charismatic and you being a weirdo is the fact that is relaxation. How relaxed and how chill you can be around another person. When you're around your best friend, you don't have any thoughts like, I hope I don't have any awkward silence because it's gonna be awkward. You don't have any thoughts like, I hope I don't say anything weird because if I do, they're gonna think I'm weird. You know your best friend, and you know that you can say anything around them, and you know that even if you do end up having awkward silences, it's not gonna be awkward, it's just gonna be silence. And for that exact reason, you never end up having any silence to begin with. You're not afraid to say anything, you're not filtering yourself out, you're being completely yourself and you're saying the first thing that pops to your mind, which usually is going to get the conversation, going and flowing and never stopping. And you're also going to be pretty funny a lot of the times. But what happens when you're speaking to a stranger? Now it's a stranger, you don't have very much experience when it comes to speaking to people like that, to people you don't know, or maybe even worse, it's an attractive girl who you've never spoken to before. And now all of a sudden, you start filtering yourself to the absolute maximum. You're too afraid to crack that joke because you're afraid that she's gonna get offended or he's gonna get offended. So you never crack any jokes and you're never funny. You're too afraid to start any new conversation topics, because you might think you think or you fear that the other person might think that it's a dumb topic or that you're weird, and so you just end up kind of being there quiet, trying to avoid awkward silence as best as you can, but just by doing that, you're creating more awkward silence than you can even imagine. The only difference between these two examples is your mental relaxation, how chill you are. If you want to learn more about this and you want to learn the absolute best information I have and learn it in the just most formatted, quickest, and easiest way, you can check out the first link in the description. Now, how do you build up this relaxation, right? What we want to achieve is this kind of mental relaxation, this kind of mental chill attitude towards not just speaking to your friends or your family, but speaking to absolutely every single person on the planet. Now, the way that you do that is by doing two things. The first one is mostly the important one. The second one is also, it's pretty practical and it can come in really handy. The first one is updating your self-image. Self-image is the way that you see yourself, right? And the way that you see yourself reflects the way that you act. If you see yourself as a guy who's shy when talking to strangers, you're going to be shy and awkward when talking to strangers. But if you visualize yourself and you truly imagine yourself and you start seeing yourself as a social guy who's chill when talking to anyone, you become that guy. So what you do is, by just using visualizations for 5 minutes a day, every single day, You set a timer on your phone, 5 minutes, you close your eyes, and you start imagining yourself exactly as you would like to be. You imagine yourself going out into town, speaking to strangers, being fully chill, fully relaxed, no anxiety, speaking to them as if you're speaking to your best friends, being super charismatic, being super chill. Sometimes saying something that's kind of dumb or that's not funny, but not caring and not finding it awkward. You imagine yourself speaking to the most attractive girl ever, and you speak in the same manner. You're just chill, you don't care, and whatever happens, happens. You do that every single day for around 5 to 10 minutes a day, and after a few weeks, you will honestly, you will genuinely just start acting naturally, instinctively in that way without actually having to kind of imagine it and think about it. When the situation pops up, you will generally just instinctively start acting as the guy who you've been visualizing yourself as. The second thing, which is a lot more practical, and it's something that can really speed up this process a ton, is to literally just start doing a ton of cold approaches. Literally just start, and I'm not just talking cold approaches when it comes to walking up to a girl and getting her number. I'm talking cold approach anyone. You see a random person on the street, maybe you're waiting in line at a grocery store, you just speak to the person in front of you. You ask them how's their day going, how's your day going. You speak to every single or any person, as many people as you can, just throughout the day. You're at the grocery store, you're at the movies, you're in town, you're at work. You see strangers, you just ask them how's your day going. You have a bit of small talk with them, and just by doing this, you will become way more relaxed and just way more confident, because now not only do you have the whole visualization, which already kind of works as if you're just practicing it mentally. Now you're also practicing it physically, and when you combine those two, I'm talking within a couple of weeks, you've basically become like the most charismatic, chill, social person ever. You just need to really double down on this, focus on it, and the results will come in like crazy. Like, just imagine yourself being able to just speak to anyone, anytime, anywhere. Doesn't matter if it's an attractive girl, if it's some fucking mafia boss, if it's the president of your country, if it's some celebrity. You can just sit down with them like this and just have a really cool conversation. Meet them, be pretty funny, have them actually like you, and do it all without any anxiety, without any negative thoughts, without ever worrying, what am I gonna say next? Blah blah blah. Just instinctively, naturally having a great conversation with any person out there, completely removing any anxiety or anything like that from your life. Just imagine how amazing life could be if you just had this. So that's why I urge you to go click on the first link in the description and achieve this goal in record time. If you found this video helpful, I think you'll find a lot of value in this video right here. Click on the subscribe button and do the work.